Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Locarids. Not disposed to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still come hither seeking counsel, and so shall I remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alice. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes over the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less like to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I could think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. Alright, now we're making our way to the other end of this circle. Oh, look at all those quests. So many. So little time. We got ourselves an hour and a half thereabouts. I think we're good. I think we're making great time. And we're coming close to the culmination of the story. I am excited. Super stoked to see how, I guess I should say, this comes to an end. There she is. Oh, look at that. All the boxes. And a critter inside. Sagenhoft, what are you doing out here? Helping. No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get this to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Alphino should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. 3 minutes. Alright. And we have 3 minutes to walk hither and yon. And I'm assuming avoiding creatures along the way. Which is funny because I have mounts. Why wouldn't you let me use a mount? Strap that on the back of my chocobo and call it a day. That's it. Strange looking creature. Oh. Looks like a ghost almost. Like an actual, Ghostbusters ghost. What, like the main green one, right? I don't know if it actually had a name, but if it did, it would look like that. And our last crystal to attune to. Nice. That's always a good thing. Okay. Carrying an object in your arms, growing warier with each passing second. I mean, have you ever had to trek a couple minutes carrying a heavy load? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't go to the gym. Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put them there with the others. Plop. Rattle, rattle. Squeal. You have my gratitude, but how did you come to be involved in this? Ha! Then I suppose I have Grid to thank as well. If you're wondering why we were tasked with bringing these boxes to Aporia to begin with, so was I. Oh, come on! Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. You carried all of that at once. Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush, they're lighter than they look. Not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Theopoldin is at the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance, at least. Considering where we are, we might even learn something interesting. A bundle of energy she is. Would that I had it. Because I think the only thing keeping me above ground right now is the sheer quantity of coffee I drink every single day. I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for the magical bean juice, I'd be done. Day shift does not agree with me in the slightest. Alright, First we're gonna attune. Then we have every aetherite. Oh, maybe there should be more just for the convenience of traipsing around. Okay, Mr. Junkmonger, or Ms. Junkmonger. That's not what I was thinking. I thought it was the gem trader. But no such one. Alright. I keep thinking that I've seen him elsewhere, but I cannot for the life of me remember when. This must be Theopoldin. Gods, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We've brought samples from Charley Hamlet, Series 110. The crates are by the entrance. Ah, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You are four Chanot's children, are you not? Alphato and Alizé at your service. You're well acquainted with father, I take it. Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studium. I remember when we were yay high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly it's been quite some time since we've met. 'Tis good to see you again, leading your father's Noliths, no less. You knew our parents when they were young. What were they like? Pray, spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you. Alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. We can help with that, in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well, then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery, so how about you each take one? Yosh! On our way, fam. Into the mist. You will find a forum representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. Hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alphino and Alice, I'm certain they will be back soon enough. The southern... I mean, that's south, right? Incorrect. Sadly mistaken. No easy way back up. Except for the stairs, of course. Reserved representative. Requiring reams of reports. Are you not one of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the Aether Burner. Yeah, but, you know. I do what I can. Theopoldin's paperwork. I was beginning to worry I had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents to my hands at last. As for your other task, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you Scions succeed. The Exodus is without a doubt the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and so we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlayan has ever been a nation of the curious, which would be a tragedy indeed if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. Indeed. Truth, justice, and the American way, right? Except we have neither nowadays. Quick and efficient. I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins' papers only needed to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. Maybe they ran into more friends of their parents. Look at those threads. That's tight. I want that. We return with not a scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe you struggled out of your swaddling clothes and... That is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked you here to reiterate. Of course. I've known your father for so long. I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Leveleur name garners such respect in Chilean is your family's storied history. You two can trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Neunkrebs Hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. 'Tis why Neunkrebs's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war, and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time, Archon Louis looked not to Neunkrebs's words, but his deeds. He asserted in defiance of his peers that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations, that led to him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. Otherwise, you cannot be friends with everyone, because to be tolerant of intolerance is to become intolerant oneself. There will ever be conflict and calamity will follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those whom I conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Louis lived by that personal creed and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlatan or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortunato could not reconcile Louis' deeds with the philosophy of the forebears and his peers, a philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortunato agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is it not always thus? Gods know Fortunato's a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that is not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born, barely recognizable. He was, with a kind of dumbfounded grin I'd never seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. Disowning you notwithstanding. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he's decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I'm sure you will agree. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. We're getting close! Think we're about to get a level 89 quest? Hail, you three! Graha, surely Coco hasn't driven you out of the forge already. For better or for worse, no. However, he has set me a task that requires more than my single pair of hands, and here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alice and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, Sagenhaft? Can you spare the time? What commitments? Weren't you just helping carrying boxes? Perfect, this shouldn't take long.